Thank you so much, and thank you, Representative Fletcher, for holding this very important session. Madam Speaker, I rise today to recognize the healthcare providers who have dedicated their lives working to ensure equitable access to reproductive health care. Today, I'm honored to highlight the work and courage of Susan Hill of North Carolina, the former president of the National Women's Health Organization in North Carolina and a fierce advocate for abortion access and reproductive rights. Susan opened clinics across the country to ensure that women could access the health care they need, including abortion care, with dignity and safety. She focused her work on providing reproductive health services in the Southeast, despite onerous restrictions, so that pregnant women could make the best health care decisions for themselves and their families, no matter where they lived. In fact, Susan Hill founded Jackson Women's Health Organization, which is now the last remaining health center providing abortions in Mississippi. This very clinic is at the center of the case directly challenging Roe v. Wade that is currently before the Supreme Court. If the court decides to uphold Mississippi's abortion ban and gut Roe, it will be overturning nearly 50 years of judicial precedent and undermining women's fundamental right to make their own personal decisions about their bodies, their families, their futures. Susan Hill never wavered in her commitment to protecting patients' autonomy and safety, even as anti-abortion protesters used arson, firebombing, and countless acts of vandalism to intimidate her into closing down her clinics. Today, the stakes for reproductive freedom are more dire than ever before. Extreme abortion bans and medically unnecessary restrictions are sweeping our country and posing an enormous threat to women's health and constitutional rights. Decimating abortion access diminishes our equality under the law. The consequences of these egregious attacks most acutely impact communities of color and underserved communities, which already face barriers to health care. Health care cannot just be for the few, as the legacy of Susan Hill reminds us. All people deserve access to the reproductive care they need, free from political interference, discrimination, and harassment. Years ago, I spoke on a panel about abortion rights with a physician who had done his residency in Philadelphia before the passage of Roe v. Wade. He told us about his experience working in the emergency room, trying to save desperate women who were near death from botched back alley abortions, women who suffered irreparable damage, women who didn't make it. And he told us that history has shown there will always be abortions. The only question is whether abortions will be safe and whether they will be available to those who are faced with terribly difficult choices. We must ensure that all people have the right to control their own reproductive decisions and have the right to the reproductive health care they need. I'm proud to recognize a fellow North Carolinian, Susan Hill, and to share her commitment to ensuring that abortion rights are protected and comprehensive reproductive health care is accessible to all who need it. Thank you, and I yield back.
Thank you so much, Rep. Manning, and so important, the points that you made, talking about the importance of access to safe abortions